Good morning. Nehemiah 6. By Nehemiah, the work of rebuilding Jerusalem walls were nearly done. The finish line was in sight. But there were still those who didn't want to see Jerusalem rise again. Sanballat and Tobiah and others who mocked and opposed Nehemiah's work were not willing to admit defeat. Nehemiah had faced ridicule, threats, and distractions along the way, and he had pressed on, trusting in God. Now, in the final stages of the wall completion drew near, the enemies of Judah were desperate. They saw Nehemiah was determined to finish what they had started, and so they turned to more insidious tactics, trickery, and deception. They sent Nehemiah an invitation. They invited him to meet them in a place called Oh No. Their intent wasn't to discuss peace, it was a distraction and to deceive him. They wanted to pull him away from the work and to take him away from the city where he was most valuable. Nehemiah received the letter and his heart, and he knew it was a trap. They wanted to take him away to harm him, to stop the work. But Nehemiah didn't waver. He replied firmly, "I am doing work. I cannot come. Why should I work? Why should the work stop while I leave it and you go down to you?" Again, the letter they sent urging him to meet with them. Again, Nehemiah refused. The persistence in their attempts, sending more letters, each filled with more deceptive tactics, trying to make Nehemiah afraid and distracted, but Nehemiah resolved to remain unshaken. He was focused on what to do with God's work and when God called him. Nehemiah refused wasn't out of pride or stubbornness. It was about deep understanding of the importance of his mission. He knew that God called him to rebuild walls of Jerusalem, and there was no distraction, no matter how convincing, would stop him. Nehemiah kept working, staying focused on the task, and he wouldn't let fear or lies pull him away from what God called him to do. And so, with unwavering faith and perseverance, Nehemiah completed the work. The walls finished in just 52 days, incredible feat in the face of constant opposition. Nehemiah, to the threats around him, was simple. He stayed faithful to the task and trusted God see him through it. So today, in Nehemiah 6, God teaches us a vital lesson. When we are doing work God called us to do, there will always be distraction, threats, and opposition. But like Nehemiah, we must stay focused on the mission. There will be moments when the enemy tries to distract us with lies, fears, and even empty promises of the rest or peace. But God has called us to do something greater. We must not let anything pull us away from His will. Work on God's call to you. The distraction of obstacles are trying to pull you away from. Nehemiah's story reminds us that staying faithful to God's calling requires focus, determination, and trust. This week, I encourage you to reflect on what God has worked for you and you must pay attention to. What is distracting you from it? What are you allowing to pull you away from the course? Play for strengths and focuses and share this message with someone else. Today is the burial of my Uncle Tommy. May God bless you, bless our family. He will be missed, loved forever. Thank you, Uncle Tommy. Have a blessed day, everyone.